Hello everyone, and welcome to our great recipes. Today we're making Swedish meatballs, and this is the finished product, and believe me, it's absolutely delicious. So if you want to find out how to make this, stay with us, and let's get started. Now we're simply going to combine our breadcrumbs with our milk, and I'll mix it well, and season with some salt, just a little bit, and some freshly ground pepper. And I'm going to leave this sit for about 10 minutes just to make sure all of the breadcrumbs absorb the milk. And now I'm going to melt some butter in a pan. And now I'll add my onion. And I'm just going to saute this for a few minutes just until it turns just a nice light golden brown. So my onions are just about like this, just a nice little tinge of brown on them. And after my breadcrumbs and milk have sat for about 10 minutes and are well absorbed, I'm just going to transfer them to a bigger bowl, and now I'm going to add my ground beef and my sauteed onion, minced garlic, the egg. Now I'm just going to mix this until it's well combined, and I'm going to start off with a wooden spoon. And once I've got the mix started here, I'm just going to clean my hands, make sure they're well clean, and I'm just going to finish mixing thoroughly with my hands here. And after I mix well, I'm going to scoop up some mixture, tablespoon, tablespoon and a half. And I'm just going to shape this into a round meatball. Now I'm going to make my meatball a little bigger than we've suggested in the actual recipe on the website, simply because I've used a fairly fatty cut of meat, and these I'm going to get a lot of shrinkage here. But if you're using a lean cut of meat, I would say just about a 1-inch diameter ball, and you'll end up with a meatball around 3/4 of an inch. Just about like this. And just continue this process for the rest of the mixture. Now, after I have my meatballs made, I'm just going to preheat a little more butter. Not a whole lot, because I'm going to get a lot of fat off the meatballs in my pan here. And then I'm just going to add my meatballs into the pan, just one at a time. And depending on the size of your pan, maybe cook, 5 or 6 at a time. But just remember not to overcrowd the pan. That's the last thing you want. And I'm just going to cook these guys until they're just browned on all sides, just about like this. And then I'm just going to remove them and set them aside and continue frying the rest of my meatballs. And to drain these, I've just set up my little homemade strainer here. It's just a bowl and a colander. And I'm just going to set the meatballs in there fresh out of the frying pan and let all the unhealthy grease drain off them into the bowl. And then just set them aside on a paper towel. Now our meatballs are done. It's time to make our sauce, and to do this I'm going to preheat the same pan I cooked the meatballs in. I've just discarded some of the grease, and I'm going to add some butter. And I'm going to give this a stir around until it melts. Now I'm just going to add some flour to that fresh butter, and I'm just going to whisk it around till it nicely dissolves in the butter. And we got to be really careful not to burn our pans, so keep the heat really low. And I'm going to add in some milk. And I'll continue to cook on a low heat and mix and whisk really well. Now I'm going to season with some parsley, some salt, some ground pepper, and some soy sauce. And I'm going to give this a stir and continue to heat it for a few minutes. And then we're pretty well done. We're ready to serve. And now I'm just going to place my meatballs on a plate. And I'm going to pour the sauce over the meatballs. And this is going to be absolutely incredible, so delicious. And you're ready to eat and enjoy. For exact measurements on this recipe, check out our website at ourgreatrecipes.com. And once again, have a great day and enjoy.